Transformers toys were more fun in the late 2000s, and there's just no debate. This Skids figure does a lot more than just sit on a shelf, but there's one feature pretty unique to this toy that I find a bit perplexing. Humor me for a second. It's Christmas 2009, and look what you just opened. It's your absolute favorite character, Skids, from your favorite Transformers movie yet, Revenge of the Fallen. And you're only slightly upset that someone has ripped Megan Fox's face off the cover of this box. Now, it might not have gone down exactly like that, but you should have been hyped because this is when Transformers toys were still fun. Look at that embossed logo on the top of this box. The packaging, as far as I'm concerned, for these Human Alliance toys is just absolutely amazing. You don't want to rip them out of the box, but you're going to have to do it anyway because the toys that came in it are incredible. But as you can see, we've got a little picture of Megan Fox on the side here and RC. And look at these photos on the back. This tells you you're not just going to stand this thing up on a shelf. You're going to play with it. You're going to have some fun. You have options with this toy. And boy, these graphics and the background are just incredible. That's all amazing. So let's actually get this thing out of here and check it out. And here's a first look at Skids in his green Chevy Beat concept car. He, of course, was the green one.
No, green is mine. I'm called green. I got the green.
And he looks absolutely fantastic with those black stripes on the side, the black hood, those headlights with the glass cover just look absolutely amazing. Just everything about this car, I just absolutely love it. I don't know about you, but it is just cool as can be. Now, the Human Alliance line of Transformers was the sort of spiritual successor to the Alternators or Vinyltech Transformers. So the main gimmick was, of course, that you actually had an interior to the car. You had seats and a steering wheel. And the human figures that came with these cars would actually fit inside them. Now, for the most part, they're not as detailed as the Alternators were, but the interior still looks great. You do have the seats, you have the steering wheel, and of course you have space to put the figures in. And here you can see the figure you get of Michaela. Now, I don't think this looks too much like Megan Fox per se, but it is a fairly decently articulated figure that you can do various things with this toy. And of course she has a giant hole in her back, and that's so she will connect to certain parts of the toy. So you can, of course, fold up her legs and get her in the right driving position, and she will fit inside the car just fine. And as you can see, she looks pretty cool in there. With a driver in the car, you wouldn't even know this is a Transformer that is actually able to turn into a robot. But it can, and we will do that soon enough. Honestly, I have less to say about the RC figure that comes in this package. It's, as many people have noted, it's not really RC, but it is painted sort of in the correct colors. And it kind of struggles to stand up unless you balance it just right. Honestly, it kind of just gives me RPM 2 vibes, the GoBot that I've owned since I was a child, that I actually kind of prefer to this RC. But yes, Michaela can ride the motorcycle just fine. And if you want it to stay put, you can just put that bit down. Michaela doesn't fare as well on the GoBot RPM 2, however. But back to Skids, since he is a sort of spiritual successor to the Alternators, will Michaela sit in Grimlock? Of course she will. And just look how cool she looks in that Ford Mustang GT. I actually think she probably prefers it to the Chevy Beat, but regardless. What she probably won't prefer as much is this stupid Alternators Optimus Prime, whose hood will never seem to close anymore. And in fact, I tried my best to try to get her to fit in there, but I think the seat is pulled up just a little too far to get her in there, which I don't know how you could get much thinner than Michaela, but I just couldn't seem to get her in there. The problem, of course, is that this is in fact the KISS Player's Convoy, and I think it was designed more specifically for the stupid child-sized figure that was packaged with this guy that we got rid of. Anyway, Michaela, you go ahead and take a look at Grimlock's engine for us while we take a look at transforming Skids. Now, the main thing I'd like to say about the Human Alliance vehicles, and particularly Skids here because he's the one I worked with most recently, is that while there is some similar complexity to what you saw with the Alternators, he goes together so much better, and it's such a way more satisfying transformation than the Alternators because you're always afraid you're going to break something on those guys. And here you're not, and here there's no squishing at the end to make everything work. So if you do it right, everything does just fit. So to get started transforming him, of course, you want to get the doors out of the way, and then you want to move these runners out of the way as well, disconnect those. Those will be a pain for you because they twist a couple ways, but not the other way, and that'll make sense when you're trying to transform this guy. But regardless, always just kind of keep them out of the way. Next thing you probably want to do is unsnap the hood from the front there, and you can kind of peel that up and back. And then the midsection here, there's a hinge there. You want to kind of lift it up a bit to give yourself some room. And then once you've done that, you can actually spin it around to the back. Watch out for the door, and keep it there kind of out of the way. And then again, those runners are just going to get in your way. So every now and then move them out of the way. You'll see I struggled with them quite a bit this time, more than I usually do. So you develop a system to keep them out of the way. But those are probably the most annoying part of that transformation for me. So anyway, you peel his arms out, you pull them apart like this. And then you can see there's like a double hinge there where you want to bend that bit down and then bend the arm back. So you kind of twist it out, and then you do the double hinge thing. So you fold that out, and then you can fold the arm back. But now mid-transformation, you might necessarily want to do that, because in this early stage, we're really just sort of unfolding everything and getting it out of the way. So the next thing you want to do, as you can see, the wheels are really neatly tucked up in there. So you kind of want to just loosen them, break them apart, and then you just grab them by the tires themselves in the back and just kind of pull them straight down. And they should come down fairly easily once you do that. Pull them down and you kind of get them out of the way. And you can see the crotch there. This is another bit of the car that might throw you off a bit when you're transforming. It'll at some point, that whole double hinge, this sort of chassis, the frame there, you've kind of got to bend it 2 different ways to get everything where it's supposed to be. But you'll figure that out pretty quickly. So now we can come back to the front. The seats here fold down. They're already folded down. That can kind of happen when you pull them out, but you want to twist them around. There are actually a couple configurations you can do with them, but they will twist around like that for the arms. And then his head here, and by the way, look at that sculpt. That sculpt is absolutely amazing. What you want to do first, we're going to break this bit down. You see, that's the hinge I'm talking about. You want to snap that up. And then you want to fold out his chest piece, and that'll allow his head to kind of pop up into place. And then right there, you can kind of, if you folded everything correctly, that will snap snugly into place on his hip section there. So for the legs, you want to twist the side around here, the tires. You can see it'll kind of come apart right there. Swing that around. And it can be a little tricky, but it's not too rough. But it will snap into place once you swing it around. Then you can bring the foot up. And then on back here, you can kind of fold these down to give yourself a little bit of a heel. And then, of course, you'll do the same thing on the other side. Fold the front around. Let that snap into place. And then same thing. You'll bring the feet up on the bottom. And then you'll pull the back up again to create that heel. This is not too difficult. You'll get used to it real fast. Now you will see, by the way, when I have some other photos and comparisons of this, a lot of times those doors will be up. But in fact, what I want to do here is show you how to put them down. We know in the movie, I believe Mudflap's doors were up. He had the door wings, but Skids did not. So this way of doing it will actually tuck those doors away, and you can have your figure be a little more movie accurate. Now, again, this is where it gets a little goofy, and basically you're moving the arms in and out of the way, and then you can twist the doors around backwards like that, so they're facing the opposite direction. The end result of that is when you put the arm back in place, those doors can slide down and be more out of the way and hidden from the final product. But that rail, I just don't have it correct there. That will get in the way. So you have to do it the right way. And basically, if you've done it the right way, it won't twist forward down like I'm trying to do. It will twist down backwards. But I'm going to edit this a bit because you don't need to see the full struggle for this. I just really wanted you to know that was an option, and I think this is my preferred option. So again, spin the door around like that, like I did that time, and you're probably going to be in good shape. And then you can extend the arms back out, and the doors will be kind of out of the way. And again, I had to struggle with this one because I just had it wrong, but they kind of tuck down in there, and I promise you it does work. And of course, it's usually not this complicated. And so just slide those doors down on either side and get them out of the way. And then you want to take this top part of the car, and that will clip right into the other half. And then once everything's out of the way, which one thing you need to do is put the steering wheel down, you can bring that whole bit up. It'll just kind of slide up a bit, and it'll kind of hook up to the back. And that'll be his backpack, and it's not too bad. And it's kind of obscured by the doors as well, which helps. So now one of the unique features with this particular bod is you can twist the chair around and fold it out to have the seat open again. And then you can slide his missile launcher right into place. And when you put the missile in, it'll slide right up into that slot, and then you can close the seat down on it. And then, of course, don't forget to slide that machine gun down over his head if it's time for battle. And now here we have Skids in his robot mode, which is absolutely fantastic as far as I'm concerned. You've got the heels on the back. You do have the backpack, but in the movie, they kind of looked like that. They weren't exactly super clean. You have decently ratcheting arms. You can play around with, the head a bit. But ultimately, he's just such a cool figure. I mean, look at this guy. I love this green so much. It's just absolutely incredible. I hate those stupid runners. I don't think those are ever in the right place. Probably not calling them the right thing by calling them runners. But anyway, this guy just looks absolutely amazing. But one of the most bizarre, unique features to me has to be this. There's a lever on the back of his head that you can actually push and make his mouth move. And if we know about the history of Skids and sort of the controversy about these characters, it has to be one of the most unusual choices for a character that you can simulate talking, because that makes you also want to try to do the voice, but
Don't do the voice.
But what you can do is take Michaela and sit her on his back, and she can actually man the machine gun. Now, how cool is that? But wait, there's more. Remember, she has that hole on her back, and that's because you can actually attach her to the seats actually on either hand. You can fold them around and put her on the seat, and she can ride on Skid's arm, or he can carry her. And also, by the way, you can snap those top bits down, and these little black pieces right here, you can move those out as well. So it's really kind of customizable. You can kind of make him look how you want to look, and he actually does look a little cooler when you slide these pieces up. I had just forgotten to do it in the initial transformation. But anyway, that adds a bit to his look. So, of course, you have this little peg here on the seat, and you have the little hole in Michaela's back. So you can perch her on his hand and attach her into that hole, and then she can operate the weapon. And so that's pretty fun, too. So there you have Skids with his human companion, Michaela. Now let's do some comparison shots.